and today we are going to be talking about PCOS, which is Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, which I have, and it sucks. I'm gonna be honest with you, it freaking sucks. If I could get rid of it tomorrow, I absolutely would, but kind of stuck with it. So I've seen a few kind of people online in the say Insta groups I'm in discussing PCOS, and quite a few have just been kind of diagnosed. So I had an idea that maybe I could do a video and kind of go through my experience of it and some of the symptoms and whatnot. I have to apologise for my incredibly shiny face, but I was trying a new moisturiser and it, is giving me a glow. So sorry if that's distracting. Also, I'm sorry if you can see my window in my glasses, but I have been all around my bedroom trying to find a good place to film and I ain't got one. So we're just gonna have to put up with this for now. Right, all that out of the way. Lovely. So, PCOS. I was diagnosed with it when I was, I'd say about 19. But I had shown symptoms of it for years. I got my first period when I was 10 years old, which was incredibly embarrassing and rubbish. You know, you're just a kid and suddenly you're having to deal with sanitary towels and all that kind of stuff in primary school. Like it's very embarrassing. But yeah, the fact that I got my period so early was an indication. And then I would say by the time I was kind of 11, 12, every month, the first day of my period, I would have to take off school because I literally couldn't get out of bed. I would just be in so much pain that I couldn't move. And as I say, this went on for a bit. Perhaps my mum thought I was milking it a bit, but it took till I was about, I'd say 14 to go to the doctor to say, here, look, this isn't right. I had other symptoms, but I was too embarrassed to tell the doctor about them. So it was just the heavy periods. And they put me on the pill, which is a classic treatment for PCOS. The pill did not agree with me whatsoever. I piled on a load of weight. I was already showing signs of mental health problems, which combined with the hormone problems I was getting from the pill was like, it was god awful for me and everybody around me. So I quickly came off the pill. They decided it was not for me, and honestly, I think I've only taken it that once in my life because I just couldn't get on with it at all. I had incredibly bad acne from when I was about 11. And I mean, it was horrific. Now, I'm very lucky that, I'll just come up close here, you can see I have wrinkles, bloody hell. I have a few scars around my face, but considering how bad it used to be, I mean, I was really, really covered with it. Considering how bad it was, I got away very easy with that. It was a horrible few years of having it. Excuse me, I'd say I got it around 11, and then by about 16 it cleared up. But I try to look after my skin because I can get breakouts. I normally get hormonal breakouts, which means that you would get it sort of round here. Which is where I always get my spots now. If I'm getting them, they're going to be round here and round here. So they were the two symptoms that kind of the doctor knew about, my mum knew about, that sort of thing. The symptom I didn't like to discuss was hirsutism. I'm probably saying that wrong. I always say it wrong, but essentially it's the posh word for excess hair growth. Now, I first started seeing whiskers when I was about 12 or so. And the old saying that if you pluck one out, three will come to its funeral is so true. So true. Because I would get rid of one, wake up the next morning, few more feathers there. Like, okay. Next day, a few over here. Like, no. Get rid of them. This went on and on. Eventually, it started to come up. It started to go down to the point where now I essentially have a goatee. It's the only way to put it. Right, I'm going to pass you now to me about an hour ago before I had a shower, and I am going to give you a beautiful view of that. So I shall see you in a wee minute. Hello. So I've sent you here from the last bit of the video to demystify something, let's say. So while there are many side effects to PCOS, I guess the main one I suffer from, or the worst one, let's say, I suffer from, is called hirsutism, or excess hair growth. One thing in PCOS is your body has a lot more testosterone in it than should normally be there. And this can lead to many different problems, excess hair growth being one of them. Now, it's horrible. It's debilitating. It's ruined many years of my life, because people, when they notice, are horrible. They're just horrible. Like, I've been told I'm a man, I'm disgusting, I shouldn't leave the house, I'm a werewolf. All different things that, you know, you got mental health issues anyway. You don't need to be hearing all that crap on top of it. But yeah, this is one of the symptoms. It's very common. I have no choice now but to shave it off. I try to leave it as long as I can, which is horrific because, you know, my partner sees it, which, you know, is awful and makes me very embarrassed. My children now feel it, and, you know, they rub my face, and I guess they don't know why it's there. They don't care. It's, you know, they've not figured out yet that it's not meant to be there, but they're fascinated with it, which again makes me quite conscious. It stopped me from going on a lot of different adventures in life. You know, I wouldn't go on girls' holidays when I was younger in case somebody noticed. I wouldn't go to festivals with my friends because it was camping and I'd be nowhere near a sink, and like, how was I going to control it? And no, you know, when there was no bathroom, so it's like, no, I can't do that. No. And of course you make up some excuse, but it's super embarrassing. And I mean, I have a terrible habit, and I know I do it, but I don't know when I'm doing it, if that makes sense. But I always am sitting kind of like this and trying to cover it, and I, you know, you're sort of drawing attention to it then, but it's just, I suppose, a nervous tick that you get into. Here goes. So I'm just going to move you closer, and you can sort of see it starts right here, quite bad here, not too bad here, goes down, and this is 2 days worth. You can hear the scratch in it. This is like 2 days worth. It's really bad here. It goes up my jawline, and my neck's covered. You can see little scars on my neck from excuse me, from having to pluck it and pick it and everything for so long. I'll move you back now from the horror. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you today, because I guess I'm hoping I'm not the only one who has this. You know, I've seen a few YouTube videos of very, very brave women that have come forward and shown their glory and tried to normalize it, which I guess I'm trying to. This is a huge step for me. It's very, I feel very vulnerable. I feel very anxious and nearly just suppose naked that, you know, this is here now. So I will pass you back to the other video where I hopefully look a little more human, and we shall chat more then. Hello, we're back. So that was me an hour ago in my full face and glory, and this is me now. So as you can see, it's pretty much gone. I am a bit of an expert at getting rid of it now with the old razor, but yeah, that's, you can see the sort of scars on my neck still from years ago, but I can't really do much about that. So, but yeah, again, that's why I have to moisturize and stuff, because my skin gets incredibly sore, raw, red, ouchies. So I have to kind of try and take care of it as best as I can. So, polycystic ovaries. There's quite a few different ways you can have it, let's say. Not all symptoms apply to all people. So, got my notes because I can't bear just not having the facts. So bear with me, I'm going to be looking down, but it's hopefully a little bit educational. Just sneak it in, don't worry about it. Right, so PCOS is a hormonal disorder. We know. You can have prolonged or infrequent periods. Now, mine came regularly, once a month in the sense that like I'd have one in January, February, March. However, they were normally between 35 and 40 days of a cycle. So that's, considering most people are around 28 to 30, 35 to 40 was when, you know, I would say the bells started ticking in, the bells started ringing in my doctor's head, thinking, okay. So you can have excess male hormone levels. Yeah, you can, and it sucks. Ovaries may develop small follicles that fail to release eggs regularly. So, I'll cover it a bit later, but just quickly. So, one of the things they do when they think you have PCOS is they'll send you for a scan. They do some blood tests, they send you for a scan. Now, I was about 19 when I went for my scan. And I went on my own, was very independent at that point of my life, and you know, I'm going on my own, it's just a scan. And the only scans I'd ever kind of known of were the, you know, the on your belly scans. So that's what I was expecting. And I went in and sat in the room when I was called. And she was a very nice nurse. She came up to me and she was like, right, are you ready? And I said, yeah. We'll just slit your trousers and your knickers off and get on the bed. I was like, what now? So I kind of looked at her and she went, it's a vaginal scan, so if you could just get on the bed. Like, is that what now? Okay. So I'm obliging, I did as I was told, and next thing I know, she's, you know, got this probe thing out and putting a condom on it, and boom! Well, holy Jesus in heaven, I was not expecting it at all. But yeah, they have a little toot around to have a look at your ovaries, and not comfortable, not pleasant, not nice, but thankfully I only had to go through it once. And yeah, the results came back on that, but I think it's my left ovary. I want to say left. One of them has got quite a few cysts on it. So again, that was more confirming the diagnosis. There's no real test as in, you know, do this and oh yeah, you've got it for sure. They do blood tests to check your hormone levels, and obviously you've got the scan to see what's going on with your ovaries. And then there's the other symptoms, you know, your periods being bad, facial hair, all that kind of spiel. I have to go back to my notes. Sorry, I get sidetracked so easily. Right, so so yeah, the diagnosis needs 2 of these things. So irregular or prolonged periods, less than 9 in a year, or more than 35 days between cycles, and abnormally heavy. So I had tick, tick, longer than 35 days, abnormally heavy. Excess androgen, I think is how you say it. Basically excess facial or body hair, severe acne, and male pattern baldness. Joy. So yes, I had all of that. I had the excess hair all over my face. My body hair is not too bad, to be perfectly honest. It's just here, it's the problem. Severe acne, yeah, and male pattern baldness. Now, I'm fairly lucky in this, but you can see even how my hair is now. It's very thin at the front, and it breaks very easily, and you can see my scalp quite clearly through my hair. So it's not appalling, but I've always been quite conscious of that too. Like any time I've been able to wear hair extensions, I have, because it sort of masks what's going on. But it's always been a cruel flipping joke, hasn't it, that God takes it from here where it's meant to be and puts it down here where it's not meant to be. You know, like, really? Really? Anyhow, next page. Polycystic ovaries that might be enlarged and surround the eggs. As a result, the ovaries might fail to function regularly. So, I think I was about 21 and I went to see the doctor with then boyfriend, who we had been discussing children together. Now, I had been pregnant before this point and unfortunately lost the baby. So we had been trying, and he already had a child. So, you know, when I knew I could get pregnant, he knew he could get me pregnant, and we weren't getting pregnant. We went to the doctor and kind of asked for tests. And as soon as the doctor saw my PCOS, he sort of said, look, if you're going to get pregnant, it's probably going to need medical help to get you there. So, tell you what, go away and try and lose weight. Try and lose, how did he say? I think it was 3 stone, 3 or 4 stone, like, you know, like you can just do it like that. Go and lose some weight and then come back to me in 6 months after you've lost the weight and we'll see where we are there. And it was like, I mean, I was heartbroken. I was absolutely heartbroken because it was so dismissive. It was so like, well, this is your fault. Look at you, you know, and it wasn't my fault at all. It's a medical condition. Yeah, being chubs doesn't help, but it's a vicious cycle because if you're chubby, you're more likely to get polycystic ovaries. If you've got polycystic ovaries, it's very hard to lose weight because of the hormones. So, where are we? PCOS is more severe if you're fat. That says it all, doesn't it? The causes are unknown, but the factors include excess insulin, low-grade inflammation, and excess androgen. So, excess androgen, tick. Low-grade inflammation, I'm not quite sure what that means, but I don't think I have it. I don't know whether it's to do with your ovaries or not. It didn't really explain, but anyway. Complications, infertility. So a lot of people suffer from infertility. Now, thank the Lord, thank God, thank anybody I can, I have not suffered with that. I obviously in my early 20s, throughout my 20s, nothing happened, let's say, Anytime I tried, not a thing. So when I met my partner now, John, I think I was 30, was I 32? Yeah, I was 32. And I mean, like on our second date, we were talking about kids because he had kids from previous relationships. And we somehow got onto kids, and I basically said to him, look, I don't think I can have any. I've been told it'll take, you know, medical intervention to get me there. So, and he was so good about it and basically said, look, if you get there, you get there. If you don't, you don't. We can still have a life together. And I was like, whoa, that's so sweet and so amazing. Gestational diabetes or pregnancy-induced high blood pressure. So I thankfully never got the gestational diabetes. I did, however, in my last pregnancy with Harry, I had high blood pressure throughout, and he was delivered early by cesarean section because it had started to look like I was getting preeclampsia, which is basically protein in your urine and high blood pressure. And it's not good for you or the baby. So my consultant kind of said, look, we're going to have to move on this. So we did, and he arrived by C-section and he was perfectly healthy, thank God. Miscarriage or premature birth. So yeah, I've had miscarriages and it was heartbreaking, utterly devastating, to the point where I'm not exaggerating by saying it sent me mental. Like, I just lost the will to live, really. To want children so badly, to get over the first hurdle after thinking you wouldn't, and then to have nothing at the end is just a horrific experience to go through. So, and then premature birth. Amelia arrived 3 weeks early because I'll tell you what, I'll do a video one day on Amelia's birth and Harry's birth because they're both pretty dramatic, and apparently I can't do anything just normal. But anyway, I had something called ICP, which is colitis, basically. Colitis. I can't say these posh words. ICP. Google. It's basically a liver disease in pregnancy, and I had it very badly. Now it's not a common condition. So every time I was going to the clinics and to the doctors and saying, look, like, one of the symptoms of it is your skin itches. And I was literally in front of doctors going, I want to rip my skin off. It's killing me. And they're, oh, you know, your skin stretches during pregnancy. It's fine, it's fine. It's like, no, it's not. It's killing me. And I went to the hospital with reduced movement, probably about a week before she came. And I thankfully met a young doctor. He was really nice, and I said it to him, and he was like, that shouldn't be. We're going to do a few tests and see. And he did a few blood tests, and I had this liver disorder. So it was very bad for me, but even worse for Amelia. So they were quite prompt at getting her out quickly. So again, she was a C-section. And ICP is the weirdest thing, because as soon as the baby's out, 2 days later, boom, I didn't have one symptom. My liver function was getting back to normal, my blood pressure was coming down, everything. So yeah, that was that. Non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, basically severe inflammation caused by fat accumulating in the liver, which was probably a reason for my ICP. Metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and abnormal cholesterol. Now, thankfully, I don't suffer with any of those as of yet. I'm not saying it'll never happen, but I try my very hardest to limit and control what I eat, when I eat, because, you know, you kind of have to fight the battle. Type 2 diabetes is always a danger with PCOS. I, in 2015, was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, which was incredibly scary and kind of a wake-up call for me. So I had tried literally everything, and because of the PCOS, it's so hard to lose weight. I mean, like, it's hard anyway, but with the PCOS, it's like, it's an extra obstacle you kind of have to climb over. So I was a bit dramatic, a bit drastic. As we're getting to know each other, I think you're figuring that out about me. But anyway, I went and got a gastric band fade because I'd had enough. I'd absolutely had enough. Again, we can do a video all about the gastric band if you want. But within 18 months, I had lost 6 stone. Now, unfortunately, I've put 3.5 of that back on, which sucks ass, really does. But anyway, losing the 6 odd stone brought my got rid of the pre-diabetes. So sleep apnea, which I don't have, but I used to know somebody who had it, and dreadful thing. You kind of have to wear a mask to help you breathe when you're sleeping, because I think it's your throat kind of collapses in and you can't breathe for, you know, people stop breathing in their sleep for like 3 or 4 seconds, which doesn't sound like anything, but when you see somebody and they literally have stopped breathing, it's very scary. So thankfully I don't have that. I do snore though, pretty badly. I don't know how Amelia puts up with, well, she doesn't, she kicks me now. When she was a baby she didn't mind, but now she kicks. Yeah. Depression, anxiety and eating disorders. So I already had mental health issues, as I said. I already had anxiety. The beard did not help the anxiety. But I didn't have an eating disorder. Well, I did, I suppose, like excess eating or comfort eating, or I know they kind of class it as maybe not a disorder, but like it's not good. I can't remember the word. God, I'm joking, aren't I? Anyway, you're also at risk of cancer, which is a very scary thought, especially as on my dad's side of the family, every single woman has had some form of female cancer. They've had breast cancer, they've had cervical cancer, they've had uterine cancer, they've had, you know, it all. So to know that the PCOS, as well as that, is going through me is quite, yeah. So I have to keep an eye on those things and get smear tests and that sort of thing. Nobody likes a smear test. Nobody in the world. Nobody's bloody crying for joy when you get that letter. But they are so important. Same as checking yourself, making sure everything's as it should be, because, you know, early detection on cancer is the best form of medication, the best chance at life. So yeah, little rant, check yourself. So yeah, the treatment that you're offered is to lose weight. That is the first thing you were told, is to lose weight. And we've been through the cycle of crap, so you know how hard that is. The medication you can be offered is the combination birth control pill, which, as I say, I was given for a couple of months, and it sent me absolute crackers and put about 2 stone on me. So we were off that. Progestin therapy, which again is a hormone therapy, so I was never offered that because of how badly I react to hormones. Then the medicine you can be offered is Clomid, which is an anti-estrogen medication. I don't know anything about that. I've never been on it or been offered it. letrozole, which can stimulate ovaries. Again, I've never had that, so I'm not an expert. Metformin, originally for type 2 diabetes, as it lowers insulin levels. I am on metformin. I've been on metformin for about, excuse me, about 1.5 years now. I was put on it after I had delivered Harry, and my hormone levels were just all over the place, so the doctor decided that we could give it a go and see. I don't know if it's made a dot of difference, to be honest with you. I don't feel any different, I don't look any different. You know, like everybody told me, oh, if you go on metformin, the weight will drop off you. Unfortunately not, due to the mental health drugs. Metformin has not performed miracles on me, but who knows. And for hair growth, the medication you're offered is, again, birth control, aldosterone, but this can cause birth defects. So if you are they really only like to give that if they can give you the pill as well, to make sure that you don't get pregnant because of the birth defects thing. So because I can't take the pill, I've never been offered that one. And I think this is right, Vaniqua, which is a cream. I have been given that, and I don't think it made a dot of difference. I really didn't. I used it religiously for a couple of months, and I was supposed to see, it's not supposed to get rid of the hair, but it's supposed to sort of lessen it and soften it. Nah, didn't do a dot for me, so I don't use it anymore. Eventually I would like to get laser doodah. Now, I don't know how that will work these days with the thing that won't be mentioned that makes we all have to wear masks from now on, so I don't know if you'll still be able to get that or not. But yeah, that would be the plan in the future. So here's my presentation on PCOS. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been informative. I hope it's not scared you too much. And thank you for watching. I would love it if you would leave me a comment down below and tell me if there's anything else you want to know. You know, I have a few varied things that we could talk about. You know, gastric bands, mental health, babies. Yeah. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, but I tend to get in dramatic situations, so we could just cover a few of those. If you liked this video, I would love it if you would subscribe and share, tell your friends, ring the bell to make sure that you get notified every time I put a video up and we can have a chat. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, and that's it. Oh, also, shameless plug. Please follow me on Instagram. It's a.spoonful.of.wtf. I would love it if you follow me there. I tend to put up pictures of the kids, do stories, that sort of thing. So if that interests you at all, come join me. Right, I think that's enough for me wobbling on. I hope you have a really lovely day, and I hope you've enjoyed the video.